On Sunday night, we got to see this historic matchup between two 14-2 teams. The winner gets the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they have home field advantage throughout the entire NFC playoffs. The loser has to have a tough road. They would likely have to go 3 times on the road just to get back to the Super Bowl, and likely going back to Detroit at some point. Now, if you are on this channel, I just published a piece last week about how we should re-rank the NFC playoff seedings by best record. And if you want to check that out, I'll link it for you in the description. But getting back to what the Lions and Vikings did on Sunday night, the Lions sent out a warning signal to the rest of the NFC, and even whoever could join them if they do make it to the Super Bowl. The Lions defense has been much maligned throughout this entire year. We talked about the injuries, starting off with Hutchinson, and then in the secondary, the linebacking core, whatever have you, they have been decimated. 12 starters at some point have been on IR. 12 players have been on IR at some point in this year. Now, some folks have come back, like Alex Anzalone, for example. He had a arm surgery and took a ton of stitches and is playing with a cast, but is suiting up yet again. Toughness, we appreciate that. That is grit and grind, something that Detroit and Dan Campbell have built a culture around since joining the Detroit Lions in 2021. Detroit at home, especially when they have physicality bringing it to your opponent, that is something that we haven't seen with Detroit in quite some time, especially on the defensive side. Without Hutch, I am very impressed with how Zadarius Smith has been doing. It's not gaudy stats, but in this particular matchup against Sam Darnold and this hot Vikings offense, they shut the door on any type of threats Vikings offense had. In 4 red zone trips, they were 0 for 4, including 2 stops from the Detroit 3-yard line. With weapons like Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson, for example, and Dalvin Cook coming out of the backfield, that is a loaded offense. And to think about all those guys as passing options and to hold them out to a virtual shutout, you didn't even allow a single touchdown throughout this entire game, as the final score was 31-9. That is very impressive for Aaron Glenn's defensive staff. He's done a splendid job since Aiden Hutchinson has left the lineup. Now, they're not a great unit from top to bottom, but that again, it comes back to injuries. They have been decimated on the defensive side. Talking about the offense, I mean, Detroit is going to do all their tricks in their bag. They have Ben Johnson, and we didn't see a ton of what the tricks that they're fully capable of doing, but they grinded out this game with a spectacular game from Jahmyr Gibbs. And we're definitely seeing that Jahmyr Gibbs is taking the lead back by charge, because when David Montgomery was there, he was the guy that gets all the tough yardage, and then you probably have the home run hitter in Jahmyr Gibbs. And without Knuckles and this Sonic and Knuckles duo, Sonic is doing a hell of a job by himself, and there's a chance that Knuckles, as in David Montgomery, could be back for the postseason. The Lions have now earned a bye week, and they get a chance to rest, get those beat up bodies of time to breathe after a very tumultuous year. I mean, this took 15 wins, a franchise record, to get this 1 seed, the first time in franchise history. But as credit to Dan Campbell and this Detroit Lions staff, that they are here and they are here to stay in the NFC.